Hi, I am excited to be going live today. If you are catching me on a platform where you can see that I'm in StreamYard, I would love to see if you enable permission so that I can actually see who's chatting with me. That would be fantastic. And if not, totally cool. I get it. What I'm going to do today is something a little bit different. Last week, I took time out to work on my business rather than being in my business. And I attended a conference with other coaches. And we learned all the things that you would expect. We planned out our Q4 and all of next year and talking about what's going to move the needle in our individual coaching practices and businesses. But believe it or not, there were two activities that I had the most resistance to doing that turned out to be my favorite. The first was where we were required to fast forward to 1 year from now and to talk um, to one another about all of the accomplishments and impact that we've had in 2022, which was really neat. It was literally future casting all of the amazing things that happened in our life. And if you've never done any forward thinking like that or any scripting exercise where you actually write out everything that's happened to you in a year as if it's already happened, it can be extremely impactful and empowering. So I would encourage you to do that if you haven't done that. And now's a great time to do it, by the way, because we're about to come into the month of October, which is all about the harvest and abundance and bringing in everything that you have been sowing all year long. So you want to talk about really impactful? Do a little bit of a script, a future cast. That was actually an activity that we did as well, which was super cool. Writing out what happened to us in a journal for an entire year, as if it's already happened. It's a great way to start manifesting and bringing those things into the field. You don't have to know the how. You just got to focus on the outcome. So that was absolutely fantastic. Love that. The second was to actually, besides that activity and the scripting activity, my second most favorite activity that I had so much resistance to was to write our own children's book with a theme from our life. Yeah, talk about intimidating. Like, how am I going to boil down my life and translate it so that a 5-year-old can understand? Um, we had to illustrate it. Wow, did I have resistance to that? Because, being artistic, is not my strong suit. I feel very confident in my writing, but not so much in my illustrations. So I'm going to share with you, this is my book, and it is entitled, um, If You Could See You Through My Eyes. And so the reason why these activities, all three of them, were so impactful is because they really required us to go within and envision, really explore our imagination and creativity and that right side of the brain that we don't engage often enough. That's usually where all of those creative activities and the feminine energies of creation hang out. Well, the children's book was especially challenging because of all of those reasons, right? You had to write it as if a 5-year-old could understand what you were writing and illustrate the whole thing. So I am going to share with you what my story was and why it was so fun to write once I got done with it. So If You Could See You Through My Eyes by Christine Glein. And I understand there's a song by that title. So maybe that's how that slipped into my subconscious. Well, Christine always saw people in a different way. Maybe it was her big glasses. Maybe it was her big hair. Or maybe it was her big heart. All she can remember is that for as long as she's been on this earth, she's always seen the best version of every person she ever met. From her teachers to her coaches to her family and her friends. She always saw who they could be, who she believed in her heart they always should be. She always wanted to be the best at whatever she chose to do, whether it was being a good student or a starter on the team or a helper around the house, a best friend, a good daughter. I mean, who wouldn't want to be their best ever, right? Well, unfortunately, she learned the hard way that not everyone believes in themselves. It made her very sad learning that not everyone wants to live up to their highest potential. In fact, some people hurt others when they don't feel good about themselves. Well, Christine always knew that her soul, her light inside, was so very bright. She always felt the need to shine her light brightly like a lighthouse, even when those around her tried to dim her light or even steal it. She knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that her mission on earth is to shine her soul light outward, to live from a soul led place, to love from a soul led place, and to lead from a soul led place so that other people want to do that too. Christine believes and knows that together we can make the world a better place by shining our soul light and sharing our gifts with others. Are you ready? Let's do this. All right, that's my children's story. I would love to hear what your children's storybook might be if you were to write the story of your life or about a theme from your life. I challenge you to do that. I would love to have you send me a note or a comment and let me know what you think. I think that would be a wonderful gift to yourself and maybe even to your children. It could be a fun legacy. I do appreciate all of your thoughts and comments, and I look forward to sharing with you next week. I'm really focusing on bringing the power of soul intelligence to everything that I do. I'm going to be actually teaching other people how to do the soul intelligence work that I do starting in January. And I'm going to be holding a master class in October to give you a little glimpse on how it's done. So if you're interested in that, please give me a little note. If you want to learn a little bit more about coaching and my programs, please also send me a note. I very much look forward to speaking with all of you. And until next week, I encourage you to focus on writing your own stories. Take care.